You'd think private jets are filled with CEO and celebrities, but in reality, many never even leave the ground, because the new jet set only wants Instagram photos. Private aviation was the playground of the ultra-wealthy, a luxury reserved for those whose fortunes allow them to bypass commercial travel entirely. In recent years, the fastest-growing segment of private jet customers has looked nothing like that stereotype. Instead of tycoons and executives, bookings are increasingly made by Gen Z influencers, social media personalities, online coaches, and self-proclaimed e-commerce gurus. Many of them are not truly wealthy. Some are barely out of college, and yet they are stepping onto jets, sometimes without ever leaving the ground. Why? Because in the era of Instagram and TikTok, the jet itself has become a stage. Unlike traditional clients who value speed, discretion, or comfort, this new class of jet users often seeks something entirely different: content. A typical session may involve booking the shortest possible flight, or even renting a grounded aircraft for just a few hours. Once on board, the focus shifts to filming, walking up and down the stairs, popping champagne, posing with luxury luggage, or capturing candid-style clips while seated in leather chairs. The destination is irrelevant. What matters is the perception created by the imagery. These photos and videos are then broadcast across social media platforms as proof of success. A private jet backdrop signals wealth, status, and power, the very qualities that attract followers, clients, and opportunities. For online coaches, it builds authority. For influencers, it boosts credibility. For aspiring entrepreneurs, it reinforces the brand of someone who has made it. In this context, the jet is not transportation. It is a marketing tool. At first glance, this phenomenon may appear shallow. Why spend thousands of dollars to stage wealth? Why not invest in tangible assets instead of appearances? The answer lies in the psychology of status and the economics of influence. Human beings have always relied on symbols to communicate social standing. From ceremonial headdresses to luxury cars, visible markers of success have carried power for centuries. In the digital age, the stage has simply shifted. On social media, one powerful image can reach hundreds of thousands of people instantly. The return on investment is not measured in miles traveled, but in likes, shares, and conversions. For many young entrepreneurs, the cost of renting jet time is treated as an investment in branding. A weekend photo shoot might yield enough polished content to fuel months of marketing. Compared to the cost of billboards, advertising campaigns, or event sponsorships, a few $1,000s on a jet experience can seem like a bargain. In this light, private jets are less about aviation and more about advertising. This trend does not exist in isolation. It is part of a much larger phenomenon: the fake rich economy. Consider luxury handbags, where a logo often outweighs craftsmanship, or high-end restaurants, where diners post menu shots before tasting the food. Sneakers that sell out instantly are rarely purchased for comfort. They are cultural tokens, traded for status. The private jet industry is simply a more extreme version of the same logic. People are not buying leather seats and champagne. They are buying proof of status. This is the economy of perception. In it, the appearance of wealth can sometimes be as powerful as wealth itself. Critics often dismiss this behavior as inauthentic. Yet, it is precisely because audiences respond to these signals that the strategy works. On social media, success attracts attention, and attention creates opportunities. A self-styled business coach posing on a jet instantly appears more credible than one recording videos in a small apartment. Followers equate luxury imagery with authority. Clients are more likely to invest in someone who looks established. The paradox is clear. Projecting wealth, even temporarily, can generate the income that leads to actual wealth. In other words, the illusion can create reality. From a business standpoint, this shift has transformed how private jet services operate. Traditional clients, such as corporate executives or high-net-worth families, often require persuasion. They compare prices, analyze convenience, and weigh the value against alternatives. In contrast, image-driven clients already understand the value. They are not buying a seat on an aircraft. They are buying the feeling of success and the content that proves it. For providers, this means the product essentially sells itself. There is little need to pitch benefits when the emotional payoff is already obvious to the customer. The sales process is streamlined because the transaction is rooted not in logic, but in ego. At its core, this market trend is a study in ego economics. Ego is the invisible force driving countless consumer decisions. It explains why luxury cars are purchased in cities where speed limits never exceed 65 miles per hour. It explains why $10,000 watches sell despite smartphones keeping more accurate time. It explains why a 2-hour jet rental becomes more appealing than a vacation. In each case, the tangible utility is secondary to the symbolic power. Products that serve ego, identity, and status hold disproportionate influence over consumer behavior. The private jet industry simply lays this reality bare. To understand the rise of this market, it helps to examine how status operates in the digital world. Historically, wealth was signaled locally, through homes, clothing, or vehicles visible to neighbors. Today, social media extends that audience infinitely. A single post can reach millions. The incentive to display success has never been stronger, because the potential payoff has never been greater. This is why a 23-year-old online entrepreneur may spend $2,500 on a jet rental. For them, the visibility of success is not just vanity, it is leverage. It can generate followers, partnerships, or course sales worth far more than the initial expense. Perception is capital, and private jets are among the highest-yielding assets in that market. There is an irony at play here. The very people mocked as fake rich often benefit the most from the perception they create. An influencer who invests in a jet shoot may be criticized for pretending. Yet, that same imagery can drive enough revenue to justify the investment many times over. In effect, the illusion funds itself. This paradox highlights a fundamental truth of modern markets. In certain industries, perception is not separate from reality. It creates reality. The rise of image-driven jet rentals speaks to a larger cultural and economic shift. Consumers are no longer simply buying products, they are buying feelings, stories, and identities. For businesses, this offers a critical lesson. Success is not always about delivering the best technical product. It is about understanding what customers truly value on an emotional level. A watch is never just about time. A handbag is never just about storage. And a jet is never just about transportation. The true product is the feeling. The true business is ego. The private jet trend illustrates a deeper principle that extends far beyond aviation. It reveals how modern economies are shaped not by logic, but by psychology. The demand for short flights, and staged content may seem unusual at first glance, but it is simply a manifestation of timeless human desires, status, recognition, and belonging, amplified by the reach of digital platforms. In the end, private jets are not being rented for speed or distance. They are being rented for the story they tell. And the lesson is clear. In business, the most powerful product is not the object itself, but the emotion behind it. Those who understand ego understand markets.